So guys, not now that we are a pre-service teacher who are also a non-native speakers that are going to teach a non-native speaker English language, do you think that we have the capability and the ability to teach them English language since we are a non-native speaker?
In my opinion, even though I am a non-native speaker, but I have ability and knowledge to teach in the context of ESL learners. What about you, Caca?
I agree with Sekar. In my opinion, I think we as a non-native speaker, capable and sufficient to teach foreign students.
Okay.
Okay.
So do English teachers in higher level of education need to acquire the level of nativeness?
I'm going to answer first. Okay.
Okay.
From the journal that I just read, according to Britain, 1985, the ideal teacher is the person who has near native speaker proficiency in the foreign language and comes from the same linguistic and cultural background as the learners. He further thinks that the bilingual teachers of English may in fact be better qualified than native speakers themselves if they have gone through the same laborious process of acquiring English as a second language, and if they offer insights into the linguistic and cultural needs for their learners. Success in learning a foreign language may be correlated highly with success in teaching. Nativeness of the language teacher thus should no longer be an issue in English language teaching, since nativeness contains many drawbacks due to its poor conceptualization and or as a model competence for English language teaching.
Okay, I agree with you, Monique. What about you, Caca?
In my opinion, it's necessary referred to as native speakers fallacy, according to which native speakers of English are automatically the best teachers of the language. Native speaker itself is considered a model because it has perfection speech, regularity of language structure, and also vocabulary. So from that, a native speaker has advantage in communicating by using English than non-native speaker, and has always been seen as the embodiment of language British standard in the world. Surveys according to Govarda, Nayar, and Seore show that the most common requirement found in advertisement for English language teachers was being a native or native-like speaker of English. So now I want to ask you, Monica and Sekar, what do you guys think? Are non-native speakers English teachers in higher educational level sufficient for teaching English in higher educational level?
I think yes, because cited from Cook 2001, he suggests that bilingual teachers may be a better model than the model embodied by native speakers. Bilingual teachers like us in the future, by definition, have commands two language, bahasa and English language. Furthermore, we have gone through the same stages or L1 filter cited from said Hofer 1999 as students. Therefore, they know what it means to learn a second language themselves. I mean that if we have gone through the same stages as a students, if we are going to teach higher educational institutions, I think we have the level of sufficiency to teach them English language.
Okay, what about you, Caca? Do you agree with Monique's opinions or not?
Monique, I'm sorry, but I'm not agree with you. In my opinion, I don't think so. In other words, if the deficiencies that owned by a non-native speaker English teacher in the pedagogical and language is not really felt by students, I think. Students felt that language teacher, their English non-native speaker also has a dynamic way of teaching and standard English language skills. However, non-native speaker teachers also have their own advantages and disadvantages. because non-native English teachers have gone through language acquisition as an additional language. Non-native English teachers have first-hand experience in learning and using a second language, and the personal experiences of non-native English teacher have been adapted to the linguistic and cultural needs of their students.
So honestly, I agree with Monique, and I'm sorry, Cha, I didn't agree with you because
Okay.
non-native speakers are sufficient to teach at a higher level of education. Why? Because in Indonesia today, there are many teachers or instructors who have qualification that match the needs of the higher education. In addition, non-native speakers teacher are able to contextualize the material with the student's background because they come from the Indonesia, same country. As Davis asserts that in the journals, the characteristics of native speaker are the first one, the ability to produce fluent discourse, knowledge of differences between their own speech and that of the standard from the language, and the last one is the ability to interpret and translate into the L1 of which she or he is a native speaker. And then in fact, if you look at some examples, there are already many teachers who have studied in the native speaker area. Then why do they study that far if when they back to Indonesia, their own countries, they still have a position under the native speakers? In addition, prospective teacher or instructor can establish themselves through several tests and training such as TKT Cambridge, TOEFL, and etc. Also in the conclusion of the journals, they said that the teacher believes varied considerably depending on the language skill considered. For pronunciation and listening skills, the native teacher is have a capability on it. But for other skills, however, native speaker were considered less suitable, such as the giving an example and etc. Most respondents agree that nativeness shouldn't be determining factor of what constitutes a good teacher of English, as educational and teaching skill should be taken into account. And I think that the native speaker can be taught in the higher level of education.
Right. And because they have gone through the same stages as their students, so they know what it means to learn a second language themselves, right?
Yes.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
So I think I have to leave this discussion because I have a call.
Okay. I have a class
Okay.
after this.
Okay,
Okay.
guys.
Thank you for the short discussion. I
Okay,
think
so
I will see you guys again.
bye.
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 Assalamualaikum.
Bye. Waalaikumsalam.